What you would have to do is the same pattern. You want to do your whole. So we do root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, do, re, mi, fa, so, I messed up. Whole, root, whole, whole, half, whole. Why am I messing that up? It up because I'm not thinking. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Sorry about that. Let's try that with the F. Root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We're going to do that all the way through so that you can start to understand some good theory. G, root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We're almost done. I'm going to do A now. Can I get this in? I'm going to have to move the camera. This will all make a lot of sense. After you understand some of this, you'll be able to put all of this together and really understand and help teach yourself piano. You don't need to know all of this, but it makes it a lot easier than messing with the book. So let's do the same thing. If we started with A and we did what we did with the key of C, it doesn't sound right. So we have to do the root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, we're almost done. We've got the last one, B. That's why I labeled it. Root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, so you understand the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You understand the notes that are in each key. So if you don't do what we just did, if you don't add these black notes, then you're going to be playing notes that are not in the key. Those are notes in the key of C. Let's go to F. It doesn't sound right. It's not in the key. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you how to play the 7 major chords. And the key to music is you need to understand what I just showed you. You need to understand some of the notes and why they are in those keys. You also need to memorize your major chords and minor chords. It's like trying to speak English and not knowing how to do your ABCs. You won't be able to spell anything, but if you learn the basics, then you can build from that. You can go out and spend $500 on a music lesson if you want, trying to learn all of this, or you can just learn this on your own. There's no rush. That's the whole thing with learning. When I'm learning, I laugh. It's hysterical when I mess up at how lame I am. So have fun with this. You don't have to succeed overnight. You're going to be terrible tonight. You're going to be terrible tomorrow. The next week, you're going to be better, and you're going to be better. You're not going to be as good as you want to be, but you will always be better if you practice. If you don't practice, you're going to give up, and you're never going to be able to do this. So stick with it. So let me show you some of the patterns now. Very simple. There are only 3 patterns for learning the major chords. And I'm not going to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B. I'm going to show you the groups in a pattern so that you will be able to do this on your own. So let me get the camera positioned so I can sit down. Remember when I talked to you about the keys, the key of C? Let's stick with the key of C now. I talked to you about the key of C, and this was do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, if you would look at that in music theory, this would be called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you could either call this 8, or you would call this 1, or you would call this an octave, because from one note to the next note, that is an octave. From C4 to C5 is an octave. You're getting tons of theory in this video. So, some people I think it's called Texas cowboy notation or something like that, where instead of playing with notes, they just play with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they never learned music. They didn't learn notes. They just learned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, if you were going to be doing this with keys, which I just taught you, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, or octave. See, hopefully what I just explained to you makes a lot of sense now. It's all a pattern. There's nothing tricky about this. There are patterns all over here. So if you start to see the patterns, then it all makes sense. So we're going to stick with the key of C now. We know that I just explained 1 through 8, or 1 through octave, or 1 through 1, however you want to label this C up here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 octave. How do you make a major key? Well, there's 3 different ways I told you. I mean, a major chord. There are 3 different ways, and it just depends on what note you are playing or what chord you're playing. We're going to start with the chord C. The chord C uses 1, 3, and 5. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you want to do the C chord, you will do 1, 3, and 5. And these are labeled in books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to make it easier to play. You've got to do what is best for your hand. There are some rules, but they don't always apply. So just with this, I'm going to be using my thumb, my middle finger, and my pinky, because that's the easiest way. When you start messing with this, you'll see it works the best. So if you're missing some fingers, you won't be able to do that. If you have problems with your hands, you just have to do what works for you. Here we have 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5 is what makes a chord in a key. The first note, the third note, and the fifth note of a key of C. All these notes, remember, that's why we're dealing with the white keys now. It's very easy to explain. 1, 3, and 5 will make a chord for the key of C. Not for all of these, for 3 of them. That's why I'm going to show you this one first. So you want to do the chord C, C chord, all down together. You really can't see my thumb. Let me try to get better lighting. Better. I like my videos to be good so they help people. So 1, 3, and 5. Thumb, middle, and pinky. These 3 notes down together, remember we're doing the pattern. So if you know this, you'll be able to figure this out all throughout any of the keys. 1, 3, and 5. That gives you, that's my thumb, middle, that's the key of C. So you know how to do your first chord on the piano. Now if you try that over here, that's a note, but that's not the B chord, because this only works on C and a couple others. So you need to learn your C major chord, this is called a major, your C major, your D major, E major, F major, G, A, B. You want to learn your major chords, you want to learn your sharp chords, and you want to learn your minor chords. And it's really easy to do that. After you do that, you know 7 times 3, you know 21 chords on your right hand. I think that's good math. And then you'll have to learn them on your left hand, which I'll get to in a minute, but mainly, I just want to teach you the concept of it now. So to do a C chord is going to be 1, 3, 5. That's your first chord that you're going to be learning and playing. And it takes a while. It takes a while to be able to throw your hands down there. Your pinky might go off and mess up. That's the whole idea of practice. Now you follow the same pattern. Remember I said the pattern changes with different notes. But it works with the chord C, the C chord. And it also works, will my hand fit in there? It also works with the chord F, the F chord, and the G chord. Now, if you were spending $50 a week to have a teacher teach you this, they wouldn't teach you this the easy way. They would teach you C to E, F, G, and confuse you and drive you crazy instead of making it really simple. So if you can do this pattern for the C chord, and you just keep your fingers and you move them up to F, now you can play two chords. Pretty neat, huh? In a couple seconds, you just learn two chords. 1, 3, and 5. C, E, G. Remember I said 1, 3, and 5? Well, when you're dealing with F, this is the same thing. If you were to count this up, the whole halves, you would find that this is the first note, this is the second note, and this is the third note of the keys, of the key of F. So it makes it very easy for you to learn two chords. C chord. And the advantage of putting the notes on here is that it allows you to remember and learn and memorize. When you do this, count these out, say these out. C, E, G, so you start to memorize what notes are in a chord, what makes up a chord. And there's a reason to do that. I'm going to show you that in a second. If I can spin the camera over here. Can I? Okay, I don't want to get too far advanced, but you do need to memorize this stuff. It will make life easier for you. So if we know that the chord C is C, E, G, C, E, and G. This is called an inversion, but the C chord needs these three notes, C, E, G. Well, why not grab the G over here and the C over here and the E over here? We could do that too. I'm trying to get my fingers in around the camera. And that's called an inverted C chord. So that's why you want to start memorizing this stuff. It takes a while. You don't need to learn it tonight. C, E, G. C, E, G. So I just added that so you would understand a little more theory, but that's the C chord, the 1, 3, 5. And let's move the camera back over. I hope you're getting something out of this video. I wish somebody had explained this to me a long time ago. It makes it a lot easier. So if we're doing the 1, 3, 5 for C, and we know that we can do that for F, we can also do that for G. 1, 3, 5. G, B, D. G, B, D. So you want to start memorizing this like I said. But you now know how to play three chords. You know how to play three chords out of the key of C, but all of these chords are interchangeable in other keys. That's why you want to learn them. First chord, C. 1, 3, 5. Second chord, F. 1, 3, 5. Third chord, G. 1, 3, 5. We're not done yet because we've got these other notes that I'm going to cover now.